Hey everyone, it's Monica. Welcome back to my Artsy Bits channel, where you know there will be creativity, but you don't know exactly what the creativity will be. So today I'm doing some gouache sketches in my sketchbook journal here, and I'm sketching out okra, the plant, okra, and also some Georgia collard greens. And this was just inspired by the fact that I felt like drawing and sketching and painting plants. And with the current issues we're dealing with in 2020, I thought this is a good time to learn. So I went ahead and I looked up, are there any significant plants having to do with Black history? And there are. These are just two of them, and there are many others that were very significant in the process of the Underground Railroad. So if you're a history buff, which I am not, but if you are, you might enjoy going ahead and researching some of the other plants that have also been really crucial in Black history and the progress that absolutely needed to be made and still needs to be made today. So this is kind of my process of not only painting plants, but also sort of keeping in mind those around me that do not have all the opportunities and the privilege that I do as a white woman. So again, painting some okra, painting some collard greens, using my gouache paints again today. You guys know that I am absolutely loving them. And I've really been enjoying learning more and more about gouache, more and more about mixing, more and more about the consistency of the paint, how to keep it smooth. Again, this channel is just about my journey. This is not a tutorial. This is not an art lesson by any stretch of the mind, but I'm just sharing my journey with you, keeping myself accountable to keep creating. It's one of my goals coming out of quarantine time was to stay creative. I did a lot of creating during lockdown, and I want to continue that as I go forward, which is part of why I started up this little baby YouTube channel. Now, one of the things I'm struggling with this okra plant is that the blooms on it are actually white. So I'm going to step away from working on the okra any longer for now. I'll come back to it in a second, but I am going to work on these collard greens in the meantime. As far as the okra was concerned, I actually considered painting in a background to make the white flowers sort of pop out, but that seemed like a lot of fussy work. And so I ended up coming up with a different solution, and you'll see that in a second. Now, these collard greens, the reference picture I was using anyway, has sort of a bluish hue to each leaf, sort of growing in a similar fashion to a cabbage, but maybe bloomed open a little bit more. It almost looks like the leaves of a broccoli plant before it begins to push out the broccoli flowers. But it was really beautiful, and I instantly was enjoying painting this page a whole lot more than the one next to it, which sometimes happens when you're sketching. But I was determined to try to make both of them work for me. Hey, speaking of which, would you leave a comment down below? Do you like having two separate paintings going at once when you're watching a video like this, or would you prefer a separate video for each one of these sketches? Let me know your thoughts down below. I'm always curious to hear from you guys. I often do two sketches at a time because when one is drying, I can work on the other and vice versa. But I'd love to know from you, from the perspective of a viewer or a subscriber, what is your preference? Do you like it when I'm doing kind of two paintings at once and showing you two at once, or is it better to have separate videos? Love to hear your input. So back over to this okra plant here, I went ahead and started painting in some off-white paint, which does sort of show up. The camera is even picking it up a little bit, but it still wasn't quite enough to really make them look like flowers. So again, sort of stepped away from the flowers, worked on the actual okra. This is a specific breed of okra, or a specific variety that is called Burgundy okra. So the actual okra vegetable is sort of a burgundy color, as are some of the stems, and I just thought it was really beautiful and would be very fun to paint. And you're going to continue to see me fight with the veins on these leaves. I continued to fight with the veins. I think I must have done 3 or 4 layers of veins on the leaves until the end when I finally got the color right. That's one of the things I'm learning about gouache is sometimes the lighter colors end up drying darker and almost disappearing. So with lighter highlights, it seems to me that maybe you want to go almost as light as you can. I don't know. Leave me a comment down below if you know better than I do, sort of some of the techniques when adding highlights to a gouache painting. Either way, I'm having fun and learning. As you continue to watch this, consider giving it a thumbs up if you find yourself enjoying this video. You can leave a comment or a question below. You're more than welcome to. If you're interested, you can go ahead and subscribe so that you don't miss any future Artsy Bits uploads. And I hope that you get to jump into the creative world and create some artsy bits of your own as well. Don't forget to watch to the end where I'll link other videos of mine as well as my other channel where I create art in my Bible. That's a lot of fun as well. And I've also got that Facebook group going. It's called Artsy Adventures. I'm also on Instagram, Insta Artsy Bits over there. All of the links, all the information is in the description box below and also on the final screen of this video. Now we're to a part that I really loved. I loved adding the veining to this Georgia collard green. This was so much fun. It was a little fussy and I sort of had to get in a zone and start enjoying it, but it was really fun. And I think it really brought this plant to life. Just those details of the veining really brought this plant to life, and it was just a lot of fun to take the time and add this in. One of the things that I'm loving about gouache is just the vibrancy, the ability to layer light on dark is super fun to me, and I'm just really enjoying being able to do that. I am going to be hopping over to that okra plant again, so never fear, it's still not finished, and I'm still working with it and fussing around a bit. So this is what I finally came up with here for these okra flowers. I did a little bit of line work around the outside with a very light sort of lavender gray, and I think that really helped add the distinctive petals on the flower and add some dimension and some realism. And then finally I just went in one last time to add some veining on these leaves, finally getting the color light enough where it would show up and not fade away. Let me know what you think. Did I make the right decision on these flowers? Should I have started with a darker background at the beginning? Maybe so. Maybe that would have been a better solution. But I think the white flowers actually ended up turning out okay. They still look white even though they are on a white background. I went in and just added some dots of light color to these okra vegetables. They're actually a little bit fuzzy, but on this small of a scale, I wasn't able to really achieve the fuzzy look to them. And that was it. This was it for the sketch today. It's not perfect, but it's a sketch. Removing the tape there, and that's the finished project. Georgia collards on the right and red burgundy okra on the left. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Like I said, there's a bunch of wonderful information coming up on the end screen here. You're not going to want to miss it. There will be ways to subscribe to this channel as well as my other one. I hope you have a great day. I hope you jump into the world of creativity. Like this video, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff if you feel like it. And I just hope you have a really fantastic day. We'll talk to you next time.